I want to thank the President for initiating this process. Before he initiated this process, there was concern from South Sudanese, from the region, from the international community, because time is running out. And there was no way forward. So questions were being raised. Are we going to crash? Or are we going to get a solution? Those who met me in my office or at home, I refrain from giving a solution. But I always refer them to a document we authored in March 15th, 2022, where we outline the status of the implementation of the agreement. And we said the way forward is for parties to dialogue. This is where we stopped. Because the senior person is the President. And clearly, he knows the challenges that are facing the agreement, the implementation of the agreement. He knows them, as we also know them. But without him making the move, it would be difficult for the rest to make the move. Although we think in IO, we had made the move in March. We have said we need to dialogue so that we find a way forward. When the President presented his roadmap for democratic transition to elections on the 21st, it did not take us a long time. I remember I was the first speaker after him, after the elaborate presentation made by Dr. Martin. So after Dr. Martin I spoke, I said, look, we have only two options. Crash by 22nd February, or we extend. And if we extend, the issue of the Constitution is the one that is consuming more time. And as experts say, it takes 24 months to complete a credible constitution. And the experts are Max Planck Institute. Therefore, we say this is from this activity, when we have established the NCRC, to the Constitutional Conference, and the end of the transition. You have this activity of the Constitution, you have the activity of transforming the parliament into a constituent assembly, and the activity of elections. The rest of the activities fall within, including the security arrangements. That's why we came up with 24 months. Actually, the meeting finished because we are all cognizant that in the next 4 months, you cannot implement what is in this agreement. I thought they were going to talk about the percentages. 27.3% of the provisions are implemented. 31.3% of the agreement are work in progress. 41.4% is pending, not touched. So it means you have 72.7% of the agreement not implemented. You have no choice. You have to extend. Our concern was, if we extend, how do we sell it to South Sudanese? Because some people think extension is just for sake of being in power. But what choice do you have if you don't extend? If you don't extend, you go to square one. And we all know what the square one is. If you extend, then you will be accused that you want to stay in power. It's good that we are 5 parties in the agreement. If it was one party, then that one party would be accused for manipulating the situation in order to stay in power. So, but I want to say, the extension is genuinely for this peace agreement to be implemented. Nothing else. Because the people of South Sudan have a right to elect their leaders. After independence, we called for a transition. Before the independence, or while we were discussing the transition, others were saying we should go for elections. But we saw it was premature to go for elections. The national institutions were not established. The cadre that is supposed to run these institutions were not there. Some of you will remember we had to establish a diaspora desk in the office of the president to attract South Sudanese that have gone to diaspora to come and help in establishing the system. Now, we have unemployment. We have the necessary cadre to run the system in South Sudan. So there would be no need of a transition. But because this agreement, the title is, I didn't pick the title, don't accuse me, but it tells you, revitalize agreement on the Republic on the resolution of the conflict in the Republic of South Sudan. The agreement addresses the root causes of the conflict. So if you don't implement it, then the root causes of the conflict will still be pending. The reforms that are necessary for this state would still be pending. I recall in Rome, at the initiation of the peace talks in Rome, I had a discussion with Thomas Cirillo after the president left, and I remained behind to persuade him to come back. But he said, since you are committed to the agreement, go. If you implement it, you will have no reason to continue being a holdout group. I believe he kept repeating it to our delegations then went to Rome, that he has no agenda. If this peace agreement is implemented, all the solutions, the root causes of the conflict are addressed in this agreement. Now our challenge is, we are going for extension of 24 months. Will we implement it? People talk of political will. Political will. I think if we have political will, we should implement it. If we didn't have the political will when we started implementation of this agreement, now circumstances have forced us to generate that political will. I agree with the first speaker from the civil society. When this agreement is described, difficult, complex, unimplementable, it gives you an expression of lack of political will. But if we take the challenge that we implement it, we should be able to implement it, because it's our agreement. And what is good that the president has initiated this, not coming from outside, not IGAD, not RJMAC, nor C5, not AU. We generated this will to implement it, to produce a roadmap, identifying what has been implemented, what has not been, what is in progress, and what has not been implemented, and have given ourselves the challenge to implement it in 24 months plus the remaining period of the transitional period. I think this is generation of political will. And therefore, we must move forward. This agreement cannot be implemented in a situation that the country structures don't change. The security system remains the same. It cannot implement itself. Because you need to disseminate it. You need these political parties to be active in the forefront so that the people can own it. So it needs political space. If there is no political space, you can't. At all, you can't. I think the last 30 months, I came to Juba on the 17th of February, and we formed the government on the 15th. And the SPLM-IO is there. I have not been invited to come and to go for a rally. And the reason is, people are afraid to hold political rallies. You can't transform. Political parties cannot survive if there is no political space. We took a stand as IO in Parliament when the Right Honorable Speaker made her summary of what she thought on the Political Parties Act. The IO MPs objected. And by the way, I have met them 4 times since they declared a boycott. I would call them, I share their caucus to evaluate whether there is a reason for them to go back to Parliament. But they maintain, no, they will not go back. Because if they went back with what happened in the TNLA, I should kiss this agreement goodbye. This agreement gives us a way to work, whether in the executive or in Parliament. If there are differences, there is also a way of doing it. It is not the attendance. It is the consensus that you generate in Parliament. I personally, when I was told of what happened, I wrote to the President. I repeated to all concerned, because it was the first incident. And if this first incident is left to go, the SPLM-IG and its allies has a mechanical majority. It will pass anything they want to do. But then they would forget that there is an article which is 1.14.8 that tells you in Parliament, in doing your business, you must support the agreement. You must enact legislations that support the agreement and reforms in it. People read it, they forget this is a guideline. Now, if we start now, differences from the Political Parties Act and we don't resolve them. And Parliament continues to work as if nothing has happened. What are we saying? What is the message? Yesterday I followed the budget being tabled. Shankson described SPLAIO as a giant. Okay, if the other giant is absent, what are you saying in that budget? You are not working to support the agreement. You are not working to do reforms in it. So we have challenges. Challenges in operation, in even interaction. Yakana described it as deficit of trust and confidence. Before the war, I had many friends in this room. But if somebody wants to come to my house now, he'll have to come by night. Why is that? This is because the system has not changed. You are afraid. You might be targeted. You might be accused of working with the other political parties. Mr. President, when this function was delayed, it was to resolve issues. Who is to sign? Who is to sign? SWA? Is it going to be Vice President Hussein? Is it going to be Honorable Josephine? They are one coalition. What prevents them to solve this? Is Josephine, this is a political party. I'm talking here as a share of a political party. If Josephine is the chair, then she should sign. Because it's not a governmental forum. So in the end, people had to come and say, okay, the person who signed last time, even if he is not the chair, for sake of harmony, let Shankson sign. And the issue of OPP was discussed. I think if we have a good political space, these political parties will resolve these differences. They will resolve them. So political space is important. I hope, Mr. President, in your statement, you will make it. Say, yeah, I continue saying it. Mr. President, in your statement, it would be good to guide the nation on political space so that these security organs are not targeted by political parties. Because we would want to see our national security loved by all. We would like to see our police to be the protector of all. We would like to see our army, if one is in a bus, then a civilian will say, this man dies for me. Sit, take my seat. We'd like to see that. We'd like to see these organs supporting, serving our country. But with that direction, things will continue. Obviously, Parliament has passed the security bills, or one security bill, SPDF bill or act now. The rest are still pending. I hope any of these that had been passed in the absence of IO should return to Parliament, including the political party bill, so that we do it together. Deng was talking about unity. I agree with him, unity of purpose is important. Because so that others, like Shamson, are not deterred by the unity of SPLM. Because that would mean a one monolithic political party in it. But I want you to know one thing. The Kenyan example would not work with us. Many of the SPLM are ideologues. I want to explain. Many of the SPLM, whether it is IG, IO, they are ideologue. They have a perception, a vision of what this country should be. So it is not question of power. It is question of, you have a vision, where do you want to take this country to? And therefore, some will find SPLM, whether it is SPLM IG, SPLM IO, an animal which says, okay, this is the vision. We must do it this way. But if we want to do what the Kenyans do, is good for their system. But for us, in this republic, it's different. I do remember when I was a young boy, very young indeed, in Kodok. Clement Omboro, Minister of Interior, visiting Kodok. We were his students. They came with slogans. Sheikh Lam was their forerunner. Slogans about independence. I have written several slogans, but I forgot them. But the slogan of Clement Omboro, I want to say it, maybe somebody was with us in Kodok. It says, freedom with justice, we demand complete separation. We were kids. That was his slogan. We sang it, jumped around about it, but it built us. Built us. Political parties are built on ideological basis. How you see the country, how it would prosper. So that is why probably there's a difficulty in unification of the SPLM, because political trends have come out of it, even probably in the real SPLM of Pagan. Political trends have come out, maybe in FDs. They're failing to join SPLM-IG. They want to be keep separate because they have a political trend. So Kenyans have their own model. We have our own model. We can build it. We can build it. It's not bad. Well, I say it's political forum. I don't want to end without mentioning, first, I read a statement made by the civil society. Maybe another group which does not go with Yakana. When I looked at the document, I saw it was fears, based on fears, based on the fact that they didn't know what is in the roadmap. They didn't see it. But they were invited yesterday. Why did they not come? To come and contribute. However, it's because there is misinformation. Because even some people came to me who are responsible. They said, are you going to reduce the number of the vice presidents? Are you going to reduce the number of ministers? But I say no. What we are doing is an extension. We're not reviewing the agreement. We're only extending it. We're giving it timelines in the metrics. If we have extended 24 months, we give new timelines for the metrics. So that no vice president, no provision is going to be touched. I believe when Dr. Martin read the document, no provision has been touched except pushing the time for 24 months. So the document I read from the civil society, that group, they didn't wait. I think now when this document is public, their fears will be assured. But they may say, but this 24 months, but do you have a choice? Do you want to go to square one? No. In it. I want to end by also, I saw a letter written by our very good friends who supported us in this struggle, in this independence, Troika, expressing concerns. I think it was drafted or written from the fact that you have not seen the document. They should be encouraging issues. The issues they raised are issues that would encourage us go forward. I didn't see them issue a principle to boycott this occasion at all. And after all, we have been discussing with them. We have been clear that it is extension of the period, because even if we took it from the perspective of graduating forces, the food for the graduating of the forces may arrive today, and in Upper Nile maybe in a week's time. And when you graduate them, deployment also takes time. Okay, the biggest group of the forces is not yet there, because building confidence was not an easy thing. But they have done good, despite what has been happening. They maintain the peace. So we'll have, in phase 2, the biggest group. Maybe we'll have to expand the number of training centers so that we do it by February 22nd, 2023, all forces would have been trained, graduated, deployed. These are concerns we have. And our good friends from Troika talked about them in their document. But they're real concerns. So I take them as encouragement. And we know the US has withdrawn their support on CITISM and on RJ-MAC. All we can do is to appeal to the US again. Resume the support. If the US is paying $1 billion on humanitarian, it shouldn't go for nothing. This country should be secured, and the country should move to democratic elections in a secured situation. If we went to elections now, you have multi political parties, multi forces. Who will respect the elections? They will not. It will be chaos. But I want to end by saying, let's continue working together, the international community. We appeal to you again. Continue support to us, to the region. We appreciate the work they have done. They made us reach this point. At times when there are difficulties, they would come and give us counsel, and we move forward. Okay, this time, they only came to us as, okay, you are extending, yes. And they had the same concerns like we had. Will the people accept the extension? Will the international community continue support with the extension? But I think now that the roadmap for democratic transition, peaceful and democratic transition, is exposed to all of us, we should say we support it. By this, I want to end my statement. Thank you very much.